Craving the coffee flavor you love, but without the caffeine? Kachava's got you covered with their newest coffee flavor. This all-in-one nutrition shake delivers bold, authentic flavor, crafted from premium decaffeinated Brazilian beans. With 25 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, greens, and so much more. Treat yourself to the flavor and nutrition your body craves. Go to kachava.com and use code FITNESS. New customers get 15% off their first order. That's KACHAVA.com, code FITNESS.
That's the sound of a big deal. At Wayfair, that sound happens a lot. Dream sofa for half the price? Big deal. New dining table you've been eyeing for months? Big deal. Finally picking up those last few pieces and finishing that bedroom? Now that's a really big deal. Whatever your home needs, Wayfair has the selection, the savings, and over millions of 5-star reviews to back it up. Shop Wayfair.com today before someone else snags your big deal.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Hey friends, welcome to Moments That Matter. I'm your host, Callie Wiley, and I'm so glad you're here. This is the space where we'll talk about real life, the messy, the beautiful, the in-between moments that actually shape us. We'll dive into business, balance, building connections that feel real, growing brands with heart, meeting amazing people, and figuring out how to be our most authentic selves. No filters, no fluff, just honest conversations to help you show up fully in your life and step into the version of you that is already there. So get comfy, grab your coffee, and let's talk about the moments that actually matter.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Moments That Matter podcast. This is a Thursday. It's a Thursday. It's a really random episode, and I'm really excited about it because it's my birthday. And since it's my birthday, I'm going to do what I want. And I'm turning 34 today. And 33 was probably the most pivotal year that I've ever experienced. And so I thought it would be fun to do 33 lessons I learned at 33 and reflect on the last year. Reflection is so important to me, so important to me. And it's always so fun when we get to go back and reflect on what we've learned and what we've grown through and all the things. And I have literally learned more in the last year and taken bolder moves and bolder steps in the last year than I have in my entire life. So I want to reflect on 33 lessons that I've learned while I was 33. I'm really grateful for all of it, and kind of chat through them. So let's not wait any longer. Let's jump right in. I'm going to break these into parts and different lessons. We'll chat about them. There's just a lot of really cool things to talk about here, and I've thought a lot about it. So stick with me on this. So I want to go through kind of the healing and self-discovery that I did through the last year, you guys. It's been a long 4 years. I've been through a lot, and I had to really go through some healing and self-discovery to get here. And so lesson number 1 that I learned while I was 33 was to stop begging for a seat at the table and to build my own. I chose to leave the job that I had always worked my whole life to get. I left my dream job, which was really hard. I was trying to align myself with something that wasn't aligning with me anymore. And I decided to leave to heal. And that was something that was really powerful for me. It was an incredible experience at the company I was at. I loved the people I worked with. I loved what I was getting to do. But it just wasn't aligning with what I wanted to do long-term anymore. And really ultimately what it came down was I was pretty broken. And I had to create a table that allowed healing and allowed me to step back to be able to heal, to be the leader that I wanted to be. And I had to design my own space for that. I had to design my own space to free up my time to allow myself to heal. So that was number 1 lesson I learned this year, was to stop begging for a seat at the table and just to build your own. Number 2 that I learned was healing is not a distraction. It's a foundation for growth. And healing had to become my number 1 foundation because I've hustled through my healing for a long time. And healing couldn't just be this distraction in my life anymore, this thing that I just did in my free time. It had to become the foundation for growth for me. And I had to start leaning into how was I going to heal? What was that going to look like? How was I going to break through my anxiety? How was I going to start breaking through my depression? And healing no longer could just be a distraction. I had to actually start healing, really. So that was number 2 for me. Number 3 was grief is not something to get over. It's something you learn to live with. And if you've been through a grief journey, which y'all, I hope none of you have experienced the level of grief that I have, but I know that some of you have. And a lot of the people that are here I've connected with because of grief. And it's not just something you can get over. And I've been trying to just get over it. And you can't get over grief. My mother-in-law died in July. And when we navigated into that, it was very eye-opening for us to really realize, like, this isn't just something that we're going to get over. We now have a different shade over our glasses on how we see the world. And it's how I see things differently now. It's how I lead differently. It's the level of empathy that I have now. And I've just learned to live with that. I've learned that it's okay that I'm different. I've learned that it's okay that my capacity is different post living with a state of grief. And I just can't get over it. And that's okay. I can just live with it. And that has been super powerful to learn and understand. Number 4, life lesson that I learned when I was 33 is anxiety lessens when you stop running from it and you start listening to it. Let me read that again. Anxiety lessens when you stop running from it and you start listening to it. I've been trying to outpace my anxiety for 20 years. I've always been pretty anxious. I've been trying to run from it. And when I stopped running from it and I decided that I was going to pause and slow down and I wasn't going to worry about judgment and I wasn't going to worry about failure, I was just going to slow down and stop running from my anxiety and sit in it and heal and be open to that. It changed everything for me. So you have to stop running from your anxiety. You have to start listening to, why are you having this anxiety? What's causing it? How can you change things? What is the life that you're looking to align with? How can you slow down? Number 5, joy doesn't have to be planned. You can just wing stuff. In May, we did a 12-day trip to Oregon with just heart-led decisions. There was nothing planned. There was no agenda. It was just go with the wind and see who we can see who we can meet, see who we can have meals with, see where we can go. And because of that, I ran into people I've not seen in 13 years that I got to spend time with randomly, super randomly. We met new people. We got to see different things. We ended up at different tourist attractions. We ended up in different beaches. We got to collect sand dollars. We did a lot of really cool things because there wasn't an agenda. And I'm a very planned person. And so to navigate for this many days without a plan, incredible. Joy can be unplanned. Just go with the flow. Number 6 is rest is productive. Y'all, I'm not a rester. I don't rest well. And I've had to really step back and realize that I needed to rest. I was burnt out. I've been struggling, and I needed to take a minute, that I didn't have to hustle, that rest could be really productive too. So number 6 is rest is really productive. Go rest, my friends, go rest. Number 7 has been super fun, and I've really leaned into this over the last 5 months, but dressing for yourself builds confidence faster than anything else. I have started just leaning into what makes me feel good, what clothing makes me feel good. On TikTok, I share my outfit of the day. That has become my creative outlet. Style and fashion used to be what I really thought my career would be. Street style is super fun for me. Trying new trends is super fun for me. And when you start dressing for yourself, it is going to build your confidence so much faster. You guys, I've been dealing with a ton of body dysmorphia over the last 5-6 years. I've really struggled with my appearance. I've really struggled with everything. And when I started just dressing for me over the last 6 months, I've watched my self-esteem and my confidence just skyrocket. So start dressing for yourself. Number 7, dress for yourself. Number 8, imposter syndrome shrinks every time you take action. Imposter syndrome is going to shrink every time you take action. You guys, before, when I decided to just take this healing rest journey and decided eventually that I was going to launch something and launch it small and go after something that I had maybe had on my heart for a while, but really never knew what to do, I didn't feel qualified. I was worried what people would say. I was worried how people were going to judge me. and I took action anyways. And every day my imposter syndrome gets smaller. Every day that I talk on the podcast, my imposter syndrome shrinks. Every time I coach somebody, every time I do a keynote, every time I work with someone one-on-one, every time I work with someone's teams, it shrinks my imposter syndrome. So number 8 is imposter syndrome is going to shrink every time you take action. Just do it anyways. Do it anyways. Lesson number 9 is betting on yourself is always worth the risk. Betting on yourself is always worth the risk. I started betting on myself this year. I started worrying less about what people were going to say. I started saying, let them. I stopped worrying about other people. I stopped making that my responsibility. I started betting on myself, and it's completely been worth it. I've leaned so heavily into who I am and what I'm doing, and I've been confident in that in the last 6 months, and betting on yourself is going to be worth it. So go bet on yourself. And number 10 in the healing and self-discovery section of my life lessons of being 33 is big dreams start really small. And if you can go and just start the thing really small and really brave, really beautiful big dreams just start small. They start small. So those are the top 10 in kind of my like healing journey that I've learned while I've been 33. So let's move to bold moves and mindsets. What have I learned at 33? Number 11, launching messy is going to beat perfection always. When I launched the podcast, I wanted to do this on YouTube with film, all the 9 yards, but my office wasn't ready. I didn't have a spot to do it. So I just decided to launch messy and just do voice recordings. Just get on a mic and start yapping and do it imperfect to just get it done. And launching something messy absolutely is going to supersede waiting for perfection. That is something I've struggled with for a long time. It's one of the greatest things that I learned this year. Number 12, saying yes to yourself often means saying no to others. That is deep, you guys. Saying yes to yourself is going to mean saying no to others. And that's hard when you're a people pleaser. I have a chronic people pleaser. I'm a recovering people pleaser. Saying yes to yourself is going to mean that you have to say no to someone else, and it's probably not going to land well for them. And that's okay. You have to start saying yes to yourself. Number 13, comparison steals creativity. Stay in your lane, y'all. Comparison is always going to steal your creativity. There are going to be people out there doing what you're doing. There are going to be people out there that you think are dressed cuter than you, doing something better than you, launching better than you, have more viewers, have more followers, have more listens, whatever it is you're doing. But comparing is going to steal your creativity. Stay in your lane. Put your head down. Your story is so much more powerful when you focus on you, because you are unique. And I've had to learn that, because all I've done is compare myself to other people for the last 10 years. And it's stolen all of my creativity. I let that go this year. I stopped comparing myself to other people. I've been embracing who I am and knowing that what I'm doing is different because it's me. And that was such a life lesson for me this year, is comparison is going to steal my creativity. So I stopped letting it and I got really creative. I love sitting in the creative space. You got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do, right? Number 15 is that vulnerability is magnetic. I started getting more vulnerable this year. I have always leaned into vulnerability, but when I started being more open about everything that I'm navigating, my grief, my imposter syndrome, my lack of confidence, my body confidence, my confidence in general, my ability to coach, what scares me about coaching, what scares me about podcasting, why I love podcasting. When I started sharing vulnerably, it became really magnetic, and more people started to reach out to me and say, hey, me too, which is really why I launched this podcast initially, you guys. Is there's so many stories to share and so much to chat about that if we can all just be a little bit more vulnerable, it's gonna tie people to you. So vulnerability is magnetic. I learned that this year. I've gotten super open with that, and just leaning into this level of vulnerability that gets to be very magnetic. Number 16 of 33 things that have changed my world this year is speaking your truth connects you to the right people. Start speaking your truth. I have just been going through the motions for about a decade. I have been doing kind of what I thought was the right next step, chasing the different ladders. And I started to realize that my ladder, especially after I navigated pretty heavy grief, was leaned along the wrong house. I didn't have the emotional capacity to hustle culture anymore. And that's all I've been doing, is that's the ladder I've been climbing, is hustle culture for decades. And I realized my ladder was leaning along the wrong house, right? We realized that. And I had to start speaking my truth and step back and just start leaning into who I am authentically And it started to connect me to the right people. In this last year of being 33, I joined a women's networking group in the town that I live in. It's changed my life. Absolutely has changed my life. It's brought me around people that are so like-minded, that have been so supportive and so loving and so kind. And I've spent the last 4 months connecting with them. And I've made completely new circles of friends down here that have been incredible. Speaking your truth is going to connect you to the right people. Let it, because some doors need to close in order for other doors to open. And that can be really hard. And I've cried a lot over the last year. I've cried a lot not knowing what journey to take. I've cried a lot on what's on my heart. I've cried a lot. And speaking my truth started to connect me to the right people. So I would encourage you to do that as well. Number 17, success without balance isn't success at all. Woo! Success without balance is not success at all. That's a hard one for me to swallow because, like I said, I've been talking about it the whole time and I've learned a lot over the last year. All I wanted to do was be in the last role that I was in. All I've wanted to do. That was my pinnacle. And then I realized how burned out I was. And I realized that I needed time to heal. And I realized I needed slower days. And I realized I needed a slower life in order to achieve what I needed to do. And I realized that I really wasn't successful because I was missing out on everything. I was missing out on everything that meant the most to me. I was missing out on time with my closest friends. I was missing out on time with my family. And I realized that wasn't success. And everything I've been chasing my entire life told me the success would be a certain title. And then I realized that there was no balance. And that was on me, y'all. I put those boundaries up and I realized that success can look different. Success can look balanced and it can look different. And that was a hard pill for me to swallow this year. Number 18, coffee dates matter just as much as business wins. Coffee dates matter just as much as business wins. Y'all, I love a coffee date. I love coffee. First of all, I love coffee dates. I love talking to people. I love connecting with people. And coffee dates for me are pinnacle. I will almost 4 days a week right now. I've got coffee dates on the schedule. It is so important for me to connect with people, to learn about people, to know people, to learn people's stories. That is so much more important or just as important as winning in business. Go connect with people. They don't have to be a client of yours. They don't have to be an ideal client. Go connect with people. Go learn about people. Watch that change your life. Watch that change your soul. It's changed my entire soul. Coffee dates are just as important as business wins, y'all. Number 19, lesson that I learned over the last year is every failure is going to be feedback. Every single ounce of failure is feedback. And every time you fail, that's feedback of what you need to be doing. And, the first half of my 33, I felt like I was failing constantly. I could not get my head above water. I was in tears constantly trying to do all the things. And then when I paused and I said, hey, what is this failure telling me? It's giving me feedback. It's giving me feedback of what I should be doing and where I need to go next. Failure is giving you feedback. Listen to it. Take a minute to stop and say, what is this trying to tell me? What is the life lesson I'm trying to be taught here? Failure is your feedback. Number 20. And this probably seals the deal for everything for me, is that you can't out-hustle your healing. You cannot out-hustle your healing. And I tried for 4 years to out-hustle my healing. And this year I finally said, I can't do this. I can't out-hustle my healing. You cannot out-hustle your healing. I tried to put everything away for years. I tried to I'm going to work through it. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to work faster. I'm going to work longer. I tried to out-hustle it and it killed me. It literally broke my entire soul. I was in tears every single day. I was no longer sleeping. And if there's one thing that I learned this year that I would say is my biggest one, is that I couldn't out-hustle my healing. I had to take a step back. I had to take a step back and reassess my entire life this year and say, what do I need to do to start healing? And it was that I needed to slow the hell down. I needed to prioritize my mornings. I need to start moving my body again, because y'all, that took a backseat too. And if you've been around for a minute, y'all, I was a nutrition podcast for a while. I've done CrossFit for 9 years and I had no energy to do any of it. You cannot out-hustle healing. You got to get present with it. You got to get sitting in it. You got to sit in it. You got to lean into it. You got to slow your life down. Number 21. The boundaries are the highest form of self-respect. I learned that this year. Having really bold boundaries are the highest form of self-respect. When I said yes to anything that brought me immense joy. I started saying no to things that didn't align with me anymore. That's when I started to build my confidence back up. That's when I started to feel like me again. I started to feel like me again this year when I started to put up boundaries and I started to say no more of this. I need to align with this. I need to align with that. This is what my workday needs to look like. This is how my life needs to look. This is where my time needs to prioritize. These are the coffee dates I need to fill my soul. Boundaries have become my highest form of self-respect. It's what's changed everything for me and my confidence. Number 22 is slowing down, create space for clarity. This is talking a lot about what I just chatted about with out hustling healing. When you can slow down, you're going to get more clear. When I was trying to out hustle for the last decade, everything that I've been navigating, I had no time to get clear. When I started to slow down, I started to understand a clear picture of what I needed to do. Okay, slowing down is going to create space for clarity. Stop hustling, cancel hustle culture, and start slowing down to understand what you really need in life. Understand your dreams, understand your goals. You have to slow down to do that. Number 23 is you don't need permission to pivot. I've been waiting for a decade for permission to pivot. I've been waiting for years for someone to give me permission to pivot because I was so afraid of what would happen if I chose to pivot. What if I fail? This is failing. If I pivot, I'm failing. Absolutely not. You do not need permission to pivot. You do not need permission to pivot because this is your life and you get to choose it. And 33 taught me that. 33 taught me that I don't have to ask for permission anymore. If I want to pivot, pivot. You guys, some of the most successful people in the world have pivoted multiple times in their life. You don't have to stay somewhere you don't want to be. You don't have to do something you don't want to do. You don't need permission to pivot. Go change what you don't love and be brave enough to do so. Number 23 was you don't need permission to pivot. Number 24 is gratitude shifts everything. I got really deep in my gratitude this year. I started to be really mindful of what I was grateful for. I started to be really mindful of the little things that I was grateful for. I started to get present in gratitude, and that shifted my mindset completely. What am I really grateful for? Instead of looking at, man, this is really hard, I started looking at what am I super grateful for? Number 25, your voice is so powerful and you have to use it. I started to dim my voice because I felt like I was too much. And this year I started to use my voice. I started podcasting again. I started creating content again. For a long time, I wasn't even creating content. And this year I started creating content. I started using my voice to stand up for what I believed in. I started using my voice to say things that had been on my heart. I do it pretty raw. I show up on the podcast. Your voice is so powerful. What if you started using it? That's number 25 of 33 lessons I've learned. Number 26 is that dreams get louder when you start chasing them. Number 26, dreams get louder when you start chasing them. I have always had an entrepreneurial, oh, that's a hard word for me, soul. Always. Ever since I was a little girl, I literally sold buckets of dirt behind our motorhome and campgrounds. You guys, I've always had a drive to own something that's my own. And I've had a lot of side hustles. And, you know, when I got clear, because I paused and I slowed way down and I took time to heal and I sat at the lake and I sat in my backyard and I journaled and I read and I just sat in slowness. And I decided to chase this dream. I decided to launch the business because at 33, I launched the podcast and I launched the business, right? I did both. I launched a new business. I launched the podcast. And as soon as I did that, my dreams got a lot louder. They got more clear. I started to understand what I was trying to chase because I slowed down and I got a little clearer and then I chased them. Your dreams are going to get louder as you start chasing them. Take the little thing that's firing up inside of you and go chase it. Go chase it. Number 27 is that money is going to follow alignment. Money will follow your alignment. If you start getting really aligned, you guys, one of the number one things that made me so scared to chase my own dreams was money. And we can all get stuck in that. And I've been stuck in that for years. And this year I decided that money will follow me. Money will follow alignment. I say the affirmation every day to myself that I'm a money magnet. If you get really in line with what you are and who you are, money will follow you. Stop being so afraid that what if money will come back. Money will come back. Money will follow alignment. And that is a hard lesson I learned this year. And I'm very glad that I've started to listen to it because it's changed absolutely everything. Number 28, showing up consistently is more important than being perfect. Get consistent. You guys start posting consistently. Start doing the thing consistently. If you do something every day, it's gonna build. It's gonna build. You have to show up consistently. Showing up consistently is more important than showing up perfectly. Number 29. Ooh, I love this one. When I wrote this one down, I was so excited about it because boldness is a muscle and you're going to strengthen it by using it. Getting really bold. You guys, the number of people that have reached out to me over the last 4 months that have said, holy crap, are you having a midlife crisis? Holy crap, what are you doing? And I said, no, I'm getting bold. This is a midlife correction and I'm just getting bold. I'm getting more comfortable being bold. This year I got really bold. 33 was my year of boldness. I wish my word of the year would have been bold because that's what I did. That's what I did. And every time you do something bold, it's going to build a muscle and you get more confident in having the ability to do it. Boldness is a muscle. Every time you do something bold, it becomes easier and you're going to find more confidence and you're going to find more joy and you're going to find more happiness and it's going to be less scary every time. Now I feel like I'm making bold moves left and right. And it's so much less scary than the first few. The first few bold moves that I made at age 33, I cried through the whole thing. And now I feel like I'm just chasing boldness every day. Be bold. It's going to build. Number 30 is that you're allowed to want more and love what you already have. So you can go ahead and you can want more and you can desire more and also love what you currently have. I've always been chasing more until this year. And now I'm super grateful for everything that I have. And I've lacked that until this year. I'm very appreciative right now of the season that I have and everything around me, but I'm still wanting more. I'm still craving more. So kind of my takeaway for the top 30 things here is that building dreams isn't a strategy. It's alignment. Building dreams is not a strategy. It's alignment, gratitude, consistency. If you're going to build your dreams, you have to be in alignment. All right. Our last three. Lesson number 31 that I learned this year is that success looks different for everyone. And I tried to live in other people's boxes of success. I tried to live in other people's boxes of financial success. I tried to live in other people's boxes for success image. I tried to live in other people's boxes for success titles for my entire adult life. And this year I decided that, hey, what if success looks different for everyone? And what if I started defining success for myself? And I did that. I started writing down what success looked like to me. And success to me has financial goals. You guys, I want to be successful financially. I want to provide for my family. I want to own nice things. I like nice things. I go to get facials every month. I get my nails done. That's really important to me. I feel good with that. And so financial success is really important. I defined a number that was successful for me, not what society is going to tell me is successful. What do I need to be successful? I started defining by title what success looked like for me. You guys, title and identity crisis is huge. And this year I decided that I was going to stop being so attached to a title and just do my thing. Success is going to be different for everyone, and that's okay. Define your success, stay in your lane, and let other people have theirs. That was a huge life lesson for me. Don't judge other people's success. Don't judge what other people define their success by, because that's their success. Stay in your lane. Get really clear in your success and let other people do the same. Who cares what other people define as their success? Define yours. That was hard for me to learn. It's hard for me to learn. I've really had to embrace it, and it's something I'm really grateful that I've gotten through today. Number 32 is that you're never behind. I learned this year that I'm never behind. You're on your own timeline. You're on your own timeline because we define our own success, and number 32 is that you are never behind. I had to get really bold in that. I had to get really bold in being the fact that I'm never behind, because right now I always feel behind. And I am really proud that in this last year I learned that I define my own success. I create my own timelines. I'm not behind. I'm not behind on healing. I'm not behind on growth. I'm not behind on my business. I'm not behind because I chose to spend time healing this year. You're not behind. I learned that you're not behind. And number 33, this is going to sum it all up. Number 33 thing Number 33 of 33 things that I learned is the bravest thing that you can do is be unapologetically you. And this year I started to lean into that, you guys. I have struggled with being proud of being me. I spent the last decade in a box that someone else put me in. And it's happened in like the last decade. Because when I was like 18, I did not give a crap, right? Like I was so proud of who I was and I dressed how I wanted. I chased the careers that I wanted. I took the internships I wanted. I got really unapologetic. And somewhere in the last decade, I started dressing for other people. I started doing what I thought other people wanted me to do. I started driving what I thought other people wanted me to drive. I started buying things and doing things and following trends that other people wanted me to follow because I thought that that's what I should be doing. And in the last year, I decided that I was just going to be brave enough to be unapologetically me. I was going to post the content that I wanted to. I was going to speak what was on my mind. I was going to wear what I wanted to wear. I was going to launch the business no matter who it made uncomfortable. I was going to quit the job because I was struggling so bad mentally. And that was probably one of the bravest things I've ever done. And one of the hardest things I've ever done was to say, hey, I have to take back my mental health because who I am can't show up for all these people and I can't show up for what needs to happen. And I cried about this a lot and I reflected and I journaled and I sat in Oregon and I cried and I cried and I cried. And I had to learn that the bravest thing I could do was just do what was best for me. And out of that, I started healing this year. I found joy again. I started dressing to make me feel really good about myself. I stopped crying when I looked in the mirror at my body. I started being so proud of who I am. I stopped trying to cover my tattoos for certain people because who I am is who you're going to get. I put my nose ring back in. I've always had a little tiny stud that it's pretty discreet. You wouldn't actually know I even had it. And I did that because I didn't want to make other people uncomfortable with my nose ring. Because what if I don't look professional enough? How I show up is who I am. I've been hired for some public speaking stuff over the last year, and I'm going to show up who I am. I'm going to show up who I am. I'm going to teach you what I know because that's who I am. And this is the journey I've been on, and these are the lessons I have. I'm not going to teach what I think you want to hear. I'm going to teach from my heart. I'm going to teach from my soul. And the bravest thing I've done this year is that I started showing up unapologetically for myself. So I hope that you learned something with me this year. These are the 33 things I learned while I was 33. I'm super pumped for being 34. I learned how to own my own path fully this year. I am super excited to see where the next year goes, and I feel like it's going to be the best one yet. I am going to keep building my life with boldness, balance, and heart. I'm going to keep chasing how to be unapologetically me. I'm going to keep dopamine dressing. I'm going to dress for what makes me feel freaking great. And I hope that you learn something from this, and I hope that you chase something big and bold like this as well, because you are incredible. You are here. You are worthy, and I love you. And I'll see you next week.